guidelines. Yeah, bing, go bing, go bing, go bing. Make sure it's up. Okay, so today this is all about how people say I'm just a child. I'm just a child. However that comes out, people say it a lot. You know, they always tend to say this, I'm just a child. And some people don't say it particularly in those words. Some people say it like they say, um, I'm barely making it, or they'll say, oh, but you know so much more than I do, or they'll say they'll say it in such a way to where they're putting themselves as just being their child. And like I said before, being a child means being a child anyway. Being a child simply means you are being in your flesh and you're not in the spirit. That's being a child. Overall, being a child means you are in your flesh and you are not in your spirit. Okay, which I already said that before, and I'm saying it again. So as we get off into, we're doing Bible study, Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 6. It's some noise going on behind me, so it's being really difficult with speaking. But overall, let me say this to you. I got to say one thing before we start the Bible study because this came to me today as I was studying, and I really need to tell you all. And as you come in, please press the like button. Please press that like button. Um, and subscribe, all the subscribers. Hi, Dorothy. How you doing today? Hey, thank you for that like. Salute to you, soldiers. Salute to you. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you. How you doing? Thank you for speaking. Thank you for speaking. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that like. Thank you for that like. And thank you for that heart. Thank you. Hi, Britt. Hi, Britt. How you doing? How you doing today? How you doing today? Salute to you, soldiers. Welcome in. Minion. What's going on, Minion? Minion. You didn't bring everybody with you today, Minion, did you? Just only bring the ones who listen, Minion. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you. Please expose the global. Ooh, I don't know what that is. I ain't gonna even say it. But salute to you, soldier. Thank you for that heart. Thank you for that heart. Press that like button. I've been okay. I've been okay, Minion. I've been good. I've been good. How have you been? How you been? Huh? Hello, hello. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you. Thank you for that light. Thank you for that light, Marina. Salute to you, soldiers. Salute to you. You been good, Minion? Good, 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 good. I'm happy. Thank you for them hearts. Hey, thank you for them hearts. Hey, how y'all doing? I wanted to talk to you all. Hey, thank you for that like. That third like. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you. Ha ha ha. Thank you. I truly appreciate you for that. I really do. I really do. And I just wanted to say something to you out there today. I got something that the Father gave to me today. How it's a lot of people that's going through a lot of stuff, you know. Hey, we got to get this word out. It's needed immediately, okay? It's needed immediately. I'm not joking with you because it's a lot of stuff happening out here. It's a lot of stuff happening. My day is good, Marina. My day is good. Thanks for that fourth like. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you, soldier. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. You ready for this word? This word. I got some stuff that need to be said because a lot of y'all think that it's an excuse for not doing what the Lord is telling you to do. If God is appointing you to do something, do it. Don't be embarrassed. Don't you know what you do? Test the spirit by the spirit. Meaning that gather up your speech because it's power in the tongue, right? So gather up your speech and rotate it to where if whatever you saying out, that whatever's being meditated on it as you are speaking that word, that it sticks like glue. It can't nobody come in the meditation of your mind and also on your body and feed you nothing else abnormal. Nothing. Hi, Minion. How you doing? All right. Thanks for that like. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you. Hey. So I just want to say to you, hey, you got to know that you are more than what you trying to put out here. Like the stuff that your ancestors have done and have passed down to you to do. You don't have to do them. It's not for you to do that. You were sent from from the hands of of God down here to your mother's womb, which means that you got to be in that image of Jesus Christ. Hey, 5 likes. Thank you. Hey, hooray. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for that heart. Which means that you yeah, look at that face. Ah, salute to you. Salute to you. But yeah, that means that you can't be in formation of just being out here as though you're just simply a child, meaning in the form of your physical, doing what your ancestors have done. Now you are doing it. No, you ain't just that. I'm sorry to tell you that, but you're not just that. You are not just that. You are not your physical body. You are spirit, spirit. You are spirit, spirit. And I want you to know that. Like your speech, again, like I said, your speech will meditate what's in your mind. And that person who says that negative thing, you won't receive it because e- everything that's going into you, even what you feed yourself, won't won't even interfere with what's going on in the outside. Everybody and what they do on the outside, it won't affect you because you'll be meditating on something totally different than what they talking about. They'll think it's affecting you, but in reality, it's not. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to speak about something before we dive off into that verse, that wonderful verse, which you're gonna go to it. not what I'm saying, because what I'm saying ain't in stone. It ain't laid out in stone. But what the Lord is saying, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Minion. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for that. Huh. Heart. All right, heart. Hey. But what I'm saying is not wrote in stone. You'll have to go to what the Lord is saying in His words and get to reading that Bible. Get to reading that Bible. Thank you, Marina. Thank you. Get to reading that Bible. All right? That's what you're going to have to do. Don't worry about what I'm saying. My wisdom means nothing. I'm just inviting you to go to the Bible, which the Bible will in turn take you to God. That's it. I say that a lot. That's it. So, again, before we get started on Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 6, that wonderful verse that you will somehow remember it and live by it, in meaning you'll have a belief system of it, okay? You will. But the thing that I wanted to say before we started is how make sure you don't rage. All right? Before we start Bible study, I need to tell you this. Make sure that you don't rage, people. Make sure that you don't rage. Believe me, do not rage. Give that rage to the devil. Do you hear me? Give that rage. Good, Marina. I'm glad you read. I'm glad that you do, because it's important to read that Bible. But then it's also important that once you read that Bible, that you go to God Himself, meaning quiet yourself and get that quiet time with the Lord, meaning don't say nothing, don't do nothing. This is after you get done reading that Bible and after you get done praying. Then you get to God and you shush up, you don't say a word, and you be in silence and wait to hear His utterance. You know, that's what truly counts. But the other stuff is just to get you mentally ready and prepared for what He's about to say. If you don't, then you won't know whether or not it's Him speaking or it's the devil, your rage speaking. Okay, you won't know. And your rage accumulate different spirits along the way. Your rage accumulate different spirits along the way. And you know you have got to get your rage together. Man, let me say this again. Make sure that you don't rage. Give that devil to God. In the Bible, it says that they were overtaken by devils. Do you know that that is a spirit? You know how people always say that the devil is in your mind? But the devil is in rage. Rage is the devil. Raging, and then rage turns into some type of wrath, and that wrath becomes stern before you and your demeanor and how and what you gonna do before you go out of this life, never to return again, not to have everlasting life. That dictates where you gonna go with this whole ordeal. So rage. Don't make sure you don't rage. That is a devil. That's the devil. Rage is the devil. That is the spirit of devils. Either you are possessed by devils or oppressed by demons. You understand? According to the Bible, you either oppressed or possessed by devils or demons. You understand? And I'm telling you what the devil is. The devil part of it is when you rage. Rage is to be possessed by the devil. Or should I say possessed or over? I know it's either one of those. Oppressed by I said it in my thing the other day. Well, some weeks ago. I hate the devil. I love God. That's good, Marina. That's good. I'm so satisfied with that decision you made. I'm satisfied with that decision you made. 'Cause you gotta make it often. Even when you speaking to somebody that's making you rise up in rage. Which is rage is the devil. Rage is the devil. So if you speaking to somebody and they have you to rise up in rage, you gotta understand. Just let them speak, but never, ever rise up in rage. This is why God said you have to awaken Jesus, because in Jesus is love. Not the type of love that we've been used to from different variety of people who gives out different types of love. We're not talking about that love. We're talking about the Jesus that is our Father. That love. Rise up. Awaken that. Awaken to that. Awaken to that. So make sure you don't rage. Make sure you don't rage. Give that devil. Rage is of it's known as devils. You being possessed by possesses demons. You being um oppressed by the devil. Okay? That's rage. Give that rage. Give that rage. Give that to the devil. Give that devil to God. It's not, and again, let me keep on to saying what I'm saying. It's not what you say. Let me say that because the Lord said that. It's not what you say. It's going to be the main focus. That's not going to be what the main focus is going to be in the end. What you say is not going to be the main focus in the end. In the end, what it's going to be about is what you do. That's it. In the end, anything that's going to be looked at is what you do. The focus is not going to be on what you say. It's going to be on what you do. What you do. So you can say a lot of things. You can direct your voice to a lot of stuff, but if you meditating on this stuff, it becomes a part of you and you doing something and don't even know you doing it. You'll be doing something, don't even know you doing it. So let me say, rage, it can be, like I said, rage is known as being um oppressed by the devil. Okay? If I'm saying that right, because I know it's oppressed by devils, possessed by no oppressed it's oppressed by devil by demons and possessed by the devil. Okay, yeah. Because one is an outer and one is an inner. One has several and one is just the one. Okay. I'm glad you love God, Marina. I'm so glad you love him. Because you have to. You have to. That way he'll know not just that you telling me, but he'll know and he'll sit down with you as you sit down with him. Meet him where he at. Meet you where you're at, and he'll talk with you. And that's that. But you have to take heed to the spirit and listen to it. Can't override it. You can't overlook it and be like, oh, I heard what he said. I heard what the spirit said. But then you still continue in rage. You can't do that. You can't do that. But I'm not saying that you do that. But what I am saying is that in general, you can't do that. Believe in the gospel, the blood of Jesus. God has reconciled himself with us humans through Jesus Christ. That's it. Yes, he has. That's it. Jesus Christ is the love of God. Yes, right. And they work as one. If God doesn't see his son in you, which he has handed off to us through his spirit, okay, then he don't know you. That's right. Uh Jonas. And then you say the gospel, First Corinthians chapter 15, verses 1 through 4. Christ shed his blood on the cross for all our sins, was buried and rose again on the third day. Thanks for that fifth like. Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you, according to the Holy Scripture. That's right. That's right. Jesus is Lord. He is. And we need to know that. We need to understand that. Thank you for their hearts. Thank you for them hearts. Thank you. So as I keep going, now you need to get this. As I keep going, um, rage can be a manifestation because it comes out as a manifestation of anger, right? Rage can be a manifestation of anger, and it also can be destructive and a destructive force. It is most definitely a destructive force. Hey, Shaja, heart. Hey, thank you. I love you too, girl. Narrator, thank you for that. Narrator, let me turn on some of this air. It turned off on me. Let's see here. Okay. So, rage can be a manifestation of anger or a destructive force. It most definitely can be a destructive force. It most definitely can be a destructive force. And this this manifestation, which is if it's not Jesus and it's the devil, right? Because that's what rage is, the devil. If it ain't Jesus, which is what's supposed to be magnified before us, and it is the devil, which is going to be manifested in your flesh, out on your flesh, before you and other people's, then this here can manifest into anger and be a destructive force before you, meaning that that spirit will overwhelm you. It will overwhelm you and take you, subdue you into doing things you ought not to do. So this brings me to which this brings you to who the devil is. Right? This brings you to who the devil is. The devil represents this rage, which is the devil represents temptation, evil, or opposition. It's opposition of love, okay? Which love is of God, and the love is what God brings down where the person rages up, meaning warring against themselves, which they are spirit. You are not this physical body. So if you are raging up in the physical, that means you are raging war against yourself in the spirit. Because you are a spirit, okay? Which was placed into this physical body. So you are raging war against yourself, and that war will turn out and burst out in what you will be doing in the end of that against your neighbor. All right. So the love is which is Jesus Christ. That is what you're supposed to cover yourself in, or not even cover, but supposed to magnify from inside out, which completely shields you, should I say, not necessarily cover you, but shields you and protects you from the outside. All right. All right. So this is why the Father tells us not to give from that evil in the Bible. He tells us not to give from that evil because what spills out over in evil is that wickedness. That wickedness spills out over in evil. That wickedness. And the Lord said what he will do. Only thing he'll have for you at the end of that wickedness is that sharp edged sword. And who I tell you that sword was, I got a video on it. Who I tell you that sword was? Jesus. That's it. He's that iron sword from the tip all that metal portion of that sword. Okay? He's that. And if it goes deep into you, that's judgment. And he wants to take whatever's in out from you. He don't want that in there. He want it out. Okay? That wickedness he doesn't want. He doesn't want that spilling out. That's known as what I've got off into before, known as bonds. Okay? And bonds are kind of hard to break. But if you take on Jesus within that bond, you can break everything, and of all of that have to flee. The enemy, the true enemy, will have to flee from all of the community around us, the people. Okay? The true enemy will have to flee. Okay? So that that evil, that evil, once you end that amount of evil, that will spill over and out in wickedness. And then there'll be a problem because God will have to take that from you. And Jesus will be that sword that will deliver as God put his hands out, his spirit will be yanking that from you. And what you will be at the end of that dealing with, that's why a lot of people, before you die, you will meet Jesus because that's that sword of judgment. You don't have to be carried away up off the face of this earth because he can bring you back. But a lot of people choose rage over love, meaning you choose rage over Jesus. And you do what your ancestral people do, and you hand out snakes and you go with the snakes because that's all you know. And it's no excuse to say, oh, well, you said that's all they know. That's all I know. Well, that's not nobody's problem. You do have to get it together to where it's not all that you know, even though I'm saying that's all you know. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. And this is to do with being a child and being in that amount of state. That rage is the childlike in which I'm speaking of. Rage is the childlike in which I'm speaking of. It's evil. That's the amount of evil. That's being in that evil, being in that physical being all the time, mind and body. of that physical being. It's evil. And you get in that head, then guess what? You're going to make the wrong decisions on several things that I'm about to point out to you that you're going to make wrong decisions in. Okay? And it's not going to be according to the way you like it. That's why I call it the big head. You got the big head. You picked and choose the wrong person. You didn't choose what God told you to pick. You did one of them things where when the spirit was left in Genesis, where it says in Genesis chapter 3, I think that was chapter 3, but it was close to the end where it went it off into Exodus. Well, it was like where God said, "My spirit ain't gonna no longer be with flesh no more," because you know why? Because soon as the Lord start placing in the wombs of placing in the wombs of others, the wombs of a woman, women. Once he start placing women in the womb, and he just start placing them, men just start grabbing them, just start taking them, and the Lord had to be like, okay, okay, I see how this is about to go. Well, my spirit is not going to be with you all no more because you're not going to Him for what you're supposed to go to Him for. You getting a big head, and your big head is causing you to make the wrong judgments, to make the wrong. Your discernment is being off. Okay, so let's get back to what I'm over here, which goes off into how God will have to take this from you. He will have to take this wickedness from you. Okay, meaning that He has to place judgment, and you'll have to discern you have to discern between that rage manifests and that love that magnifies. You're gonna have to know the discernment between that. But you're gonna have to discern the difference between if this is rage manifesting itself off into your ancestor stuff, your physical being, the childlike state that you're in your physical, or is this in love, which is magnifies? Is this love magnifying, meaning that the light from your inside out, meaning that it's cleaning, it's purifying. Jesus has judged it by that sword, placing it in the belly, killing out all the enemies, depleting all of that formation that it took inside rooms, inside your cell rooms. They ain't there no more. They ain't there no more. They are gone. They are eliminated. They have evaporated, fired up, blazed up fire. Okay? Blazing fire to the point where they are gone. And now that's magnifying. That's God magnifying. That's the love. That's true. That's actual love, you know. And it's pouring over out. It's going, that's magnifying. Light magnifying from the inside out. That's why it's not about manifesting. Only thing you're going to come up with at the end of manifestation is Jesus. I always say that. The only thing that you're going to see at the end of manifestation is Jesus at the end of your life. And you're going to have to choose whether or not you're going to call on His name and come back here, or you not going to call on His name, and those ancestors going to take you off of the face of this earth because they had an agenda that you ain't know nothing about. Yeah, they wanted to seek revenge out on how you still here, and they no longer here no more. You're going to have to know the discernment between the two. Rage that manifests, or love that magnifies. All right? So remember that. All right? We're going to keep it going. I'm finna go on. Rage, remember that. So rage manifests Let's say that. Let's go on. Rage manifests off of several over time negativity. Okay? Rage manifests off of several over time negativity. Any type of negativity, this is what allows rage to manifest itself. And you wind up doing exactly what you said that you wasn't going to do again. You wind up doing it again and again and again instead of learning again and again and again and humbling yourself to the point where you don't even know that, wow, this is me. You humbling yourself to that state. Instead, you're doing it over and over again, negatively doing things, meditating in your mind, getting a big head over and over again against these people who could probably be verbally attacking you, physically attacking you, or some just may be taking on the look of it and may not even actually be it. But you getting a big head and to the point where you just know it all. And you think that's what it is and that's what you calling it. And you ain't going no further than that. Right? You ain't gonna go no further than that. Negativity, rage manifests off of several over time negativity. Whether you speak it or if someone else says it. And this negativity can turn inward. And that'll be known as repressed anger. Okay? That's when it slips over there into anger. So it turns inward, and this becomes this negativity that turns inward as repressed anger. And then all of a sudden, you angry due to this rage, and this repressed anger will mess with you. Okay? All of a sudden, this repressed anger that you are in, this state of the mind, of the body, over here in the physical being, you will be repressed with this anger, and this anger will consistently mess with you, meaning that it will it will be demons that this devil, which is why some people will have to do more than just praying, right? That's why they say, a lot of people say that, oh, sometimes this not gonna go off for you just by praying. That's why they say that. Because you have demons. I'm sorry, you not only have demons now, you got that, but now you got to get the whole devil. You got to get the whole devil off. That one thing that shoot at you snakes inside those cell walls of your body. A bunch of them. Legions. So now you got to kill that one thing that's over top, that's covering you, that ain't supposed to be covering you. Because, like I said, Jesus shields you, but this thing will be covering you. That's why I say it ain't about no covering. You need to get shielded. Point blank, period. So this thing will cover you, and it's the devil. And you need to get that root cause of that spirit that's covering you that you don't even know covering you. You understand? So remember what I said. It's not about being covered. It's about being shielded. You hear me? All right. Anyway, so in this repressed anger, it will mess with you. It will consistently mess with you until you get off of it. Get it off of you. It's that main source on the outside that's covering you, giving you things, setting you snakes of demons inside of your cell walls, causing all different things, sickness, death, and disease, right? And I'm going to tell you what some of that sickness, death, and disease is going to be, okay? Before I get, but I'm basically getting off into Jeremiah chapter 1 6 anyway, without you understanding that I'm already getting off into it. And then I'm going to have probably just a little to say about the verse itself, okay? Um, but really, just go read that word. Read that word and see what it says. And then go off into your time that you need alone with God. So, anyway, so this one thing that's covering you is going, that's why, like I said, a lot of people say that it's going to take you to do more than just pray. You're going to have to pray. And then you're going to have to fast. Okay? Sometimes some things are going to take you to fast. The demons may have been gone, but this devil is still on you. Rage is still on your body. The devil, rage. His name is Rage. Okay? That devil name is Rage, covering your body, going to take more than you just praying. And I don't like to say it like that because you're still going to have to pray. Because I don't want people to be like looking at, oh, what she said, don't just pray. And then this creeping to your mind for what you want to use it for. That's not what I'm saying. I'm learning, y'all people out here slowly, how y'all do things. Y'all be getting these words and trying to do the trickery. I'm learning that. I'm slow. I'm slowly learn. I slow to learn, but I'm I'm quick to listen. Okay? Basically, when y'all be saying stuff. Yeah, I am. Because I don't agree with all of what y'all say. I really don't. You know? And then when y'all come on, some of you come on and you think I'm talking about other stuff. No, no, no. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about Jesus. You can name him whatever you want to name him. But I'm talking about Jesus. Jesus. And that's it. That's what I'm sticking on. That's it. Yes. Y'all be coming on here with that stuff, but I'm slowly picking up on you people. It took me a little bit. I was talking with you for a little bit. I still may do that, but at the same time, I don't agree with some of that stuff y'all be talking about. I don't. So I have to rephrase those things later on sometimes. Y'all be getting me sometimes. You be catching me up, but I'll catch y'all. So anyway, that enemy, that last thing that's not gonna come off of your body is that devil. That childlike state that you're in, that immaturity like state, that big head like state that you're in. That's not gonna come off until you fast. You you're gonna have to fast. That's why some people write books about fasting and how important it is. Because that one thing that's covering you, which is that devil rage, name him, that devil rage, he's just putting stuff inside your body, demons, letting them off, like regurgitating or poo pooing. Just dumping demons on your body, inside your body regularly. So that means that even if you clean the inside, if that outside still ain't gonna be clean, he still ain't gonna do nothing but dump that stuff back inside of you. Them demons, they still gonna be let off, just like some babies. Still gonna be let off, just like some babies, right back on the inside of you if you do not fast. This is why this stuff is to be taken into consideration because there are several things that's riding on you. Several things that's riding on you that you don't even know what it's all about. So, yeah, it's going to take you to get rid of that devil fasting. because he just ain't gonna shake you. That spirit just ain't gonna shake you. That's what's the destructive force. It wants you to do something first, and then when at the end it want to kill you. It wants to kill you. It doesn't want you here. It's wanting to kill you to the point you're no longer here physically, because again, it has an agenda. It is wanting revenge because you are physically here and it can't even get into a physical body. Okay. So do know that um once you get off into this negativity, which is rage, now negatively you're gonna turn inward, which is, again, I'm saying this again, which is known as repressed anger. And that repressed anger will begin to mess with you through those demons, meaning them unclean spirits will get let off by that devil that's covering your body on the outside, coming and invading inward. Like that's why they call it in stuff is invading you, meaning that that devil that's on the outside of you is causing an invasion to come inside of you and your body, and you are picking up stuff demonically that you don't even supposed to be picking up on. Like tarot card readers, palm readers, zodiac sign readers, um, who else? Psychics, stuff like that. You picking up on all that stuff, and you ain't even supposed to be picking up on that stuff. You only supposed to be adhering to the spirit. It said, heed to the spirit, heed to the spirit, not any spirit, heed to the spirit, Jesus, Jesus, Christ our Lord and Savior, right? But instead, again, getting back on track, you'll be repressing this anger, and that anger will begin to mess with you. And what it's going to do is mess with you psychologically. And so that means you're going to be psychologically changing. And that this psychological change will impact both both in and out on your physical body. Okay? That whole psychological change, that repressed anger that's going in, will mess with you, and it will mess with you psychologically. And that change, which is changing, will then impact you both in and out of your physical body. Okay? Which raises you up to a sickness, a death, and a disease. You got what I'm saying? So, let me say this. Oh, wait. It's one more thing I wanted to say, take as I took notes. And as I'm saying stuff that the Lord is uttering to me to say this, say this, say, because it's some stuff I can't leave out, right? Um, it's some stuff that I got, but it's some stuff that He's saying as I'm saying these things. Uh, so again, like I say, if God said He needs some time with you, if God is saying He needs some time with you, okay, the reason why He's saying it is because of rage. You are raging up. You are going to your childlike state of being, which is your physical body. That's your child. So that's why the Lord say in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 6, make sure you got your Bibles out and you're reading it. And it said that this person responded like, I'm just a child. No, that's why God was saying, this man, you're not just a child. You are spirit. Spirit. You are not just a child. You are spirit, spirit. You was born before you came in your mother's womb. You was thought about before you got into your mother's womb. You was formed, which we talked about in the previous one verse, that you was formed way before you got into the belly of your mother and came out the womb of your mother. So what are you talking about? You just a child. You child. You God's child. What do you mean you're just a child? Makes no sense. So why do you keep blurting out how how I'm dealing with this? Oh, I'm dealing with that. Oh no, I can't stop this. Oh no, I can't stop that. Why are you saying those things about yourself? Putting yourself in a childlike position like that. Why are you even manifesting these things from your mouth, which means you're meditating on these things in your mind? Why are you driving yourself that mad? Why? Hey, leader Bree, what you doing? Salute to you, soldier. Salute to you, leader Bree. What's up? That's how you gotta say that name, leader Bree. What's up? So again, if God is saying He needs some time with you, it's because of rage, and that rage is raging up and forming inside of you. It could be in response to somebody messing with you. It could be in response of somebody saying something about you. It could be in response of just you taking on old. Thanks for that light. Salute to you, soldiers. Salute to you. It could be in response. Rage could be raging up in response of just how somebody is consistently saying something, and it's coming from this one particular person or several people's, or I mean it could be coming from anything, anywhere. Let me put this here before this phone dies out. Uh, there it is. Okay. It could be coming from anything. Okay. Now there we go. All right, there we go. Cancel. Cancel. Okay. But yeah, it could be coming from anything, but you might not know that it's raging up on the outside of you. And then all you know is all you wind up doing is having these demons let off in the inside of you, and then they manifest themselves later in a sickness, death, or disease. And that's the reason why, if you have on message for the world, what would it be? If I had one message for the world, what would it be? It would be Jesus. Get Jesus into your life. Get that time uh for the with the Father. Have him to speak with you. That's what it would be. Get get back into covenant. Get back into covenant. Forget a history. Forget a history book. The only history book you supposed to be having is the Bible. That's it. If you want something in the form of history, you should be getting in that Bible. That's your history. That's what I would love. That's what I would tell the world. Jesus is at hand. At the end of whatever it is that you're doing, Jesus is at hand. Thank you. But overall, uh, back to what I was saying is that If the Lord is telling you that he needs some time with you, again, most likely you are enraged. You are anteing up the devil. The devil is rage. Rage is the devil. And that means that outside he's covering you. He's beginning to cover you, which means, that dark cloud that covers you. When you see dreams or vision of dark clouds over you, that's that devil covering you. He about ready to put them demons off back into you. That devil is ready to build them, ready to let off them snakes. And them snakes are going to be in there with you. And you're going to have them dreams about all them snakes over here or them snakes over there. They letting off because you building this rage. So God is wanting you before for mentally you go mad or physically something comes on your body. The sickness, death, or the disease. He is wanting your attention right then and there before that happens, before it tries to manifest itself and think that you can't eventually get rid of it. He wants to get rid of it before it puts you into the mindset like oh, naming it. Because after you have something, ain't you gonna meditate on that all the time? You're gonna be like, oh, I got diabetes. Oh yeah, I got. You go to the doctor now. Put into the doctor's office, and they say you got this, and you name it, cause they named it, and now you in rotation of that name, and then can't nobody tell you that that's not that name, because you believing that that's that name. But the Lord is wanting your attention now before you get to that point. Before you get to that big head, that big headedness. He wanting your attention. Because either he finna cut somebody off from you, or either he about to tell you some things about yourself. And what you need to get is something on you. I need your time for prayer. And you need to be sitting here while we get this off. Okay? So that's that. The reason why the Lord is saying he wants time with people is because of the rage that's going on inside of you, and you're going off into it, and the devil will have fun with you. And this is why when you choose to operate into love of God, this evil spirit, the devil, this rage will curse you. Meaning call you like it did me when I changed from what it was thinking was going to happen, but I changed it and I did the opposite. It cursed me out, called me a bitch, because I'm not going to keep heading in that direction, even though we have those two sides. You understand? We got those two sides, and you can either fill that space or fill this space. You got one or the other. Discernment. Okay? So it will curse you out because you switched up on it. All right? So that's the thing I wanted to tell you. And I want to say this, this type of impacting, which it turns into anger, repressed anger, right? You just angry for no reason. It's just on you. You don't gotta look angry to be angry at this point. At this point, you can be the happiest angry person that you know. You can be the most happiest angry person that you know. I see that out on the road when I'm driving. When I'm on this road driving, I see the most angriest, happiest people I know. They happy, but they is some angry folks. Soon as they put their mind to something, they're gonna do it. Cut you off and just be mad at you because they think that you probably mad you if let's say they ain't even adhering to the law, but yet they gonna make sure you adhere to the law. And then that's rage. You see rage out on the highways and the byways, the freeways and the other ways. All the time. All the time. This is rage at its finest. That's why it's called the end time. Because people are just cycling, recycling all over again in this flesh and not even adhering to the spirit, to be in the spirit, to be one with the spirit, to walk in God's glory on his earth, his light. So again, this here anger, this repressed anger will then be impacting you, which can lead to those feelings. You know them, the feelings. Feelings is an intimate moment that you will have with flesh throughout your time being as you are repressed of this anger. But which ain't nothing but the devil turning, going in, letting off those snakes inside of you. So again, if you seeing snakes in your dream, that's meaning that somebody is causing you rage. You got to just chill out because they are doing some things around you, causing you to rage. And you gotta just speak out. Don't even speak out of turn. You just gotta say, hey, how you doing today? Hey, how you doing? Even if they remind you of some old stuff from the past, you just gotta be like, hey, how you doing today? I love you. Peace. Peace be to you. Peace be with you in Jesus' name. You know? Even if they come and be like, I don't believe in Jesus. Hey, glory be to God. Glory be to God. Because Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. That's where you say that Jesus is coming for you. That's when you say that. Because he gonna know. She gonna know sooner or later. They gonna get it. So this impacting can lead to those feelings. And these feelings can be of number one, anxious moments. And those feelings of depressed moments. Those times when you get those things, those feelings of depressed, being anxious, because you are in your physical body, you're in your mental state. So remember that you'll be in your physical body, you'll be in your mental state of mind. So this is why you are feeling on this childlike body here, anxiousness, meaning anxiety or depression. That's why you'll be feeling those things there. Okay? Anxiety or depression. You feel like you just jittery, moving all about. That's why I noticed that within my son when he was younger. Whenever he go to school and deal with these bad kids over and over again, these very actively unpleasant children, and their demons that they had on them, when I put him in an environment, I noticed he be jittery. He can't stop moving. He can't stop doing none of that because he was in the wrong company of other people. And sometimes that same company can be in your house where you still got those jitteries and it never go. So then you be diagnosed as ADHD or all this old crazy stuff because you got the jitters. You got that shake. You can't shake that stuff off. Meaning that as the Bible states that you go into this home, and if you ain't welcomed in that house, shake off the dust and keep it moving. You can't get to that state yet. You stuck. You stuck in that house. You trying to figure out, you looking at the wall, mad, just in a mad state of mind, looking at the wall, just touching it. If you seen this dream before and you just touching it, you can't make no movement. You just mad. You going crazy, insane in them walls. Because you don't know which way to go out. You can't get out of that room. You're stuck in that room. It's almost like, man, what am I doing? Right? Yeah, that's madness. This person, that means that person is going mad in their room. That means mentally something is structured off. They got a lot of anger inward, and that devil ain't gonna come off until you fast. Other than that, he gonna keep. He gonna keep on splitting them rigs by putting them demons all into themselves, filling up every lighted area to where it's dark. And you see that dark cloud over your body because he took over. Now his kingdom come. His kingdom come. Man, now the devil's kingdom come because he's the devil. That rage, his name, rage, has taken over instead of the kingdom come of Jesus. Jesus is that kingdom come. That's supposed to be that kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus, that kingdom supposed to come and let off them lights, feeding you. You be eating them olives from that tree. You'll be eating them olives, not that manna, but them olives. And them olives will make you feel so much better eating them green olives. I'm telling you, them green grapes, 'cause they turn into grapes too for some people. But them green olives, when it gets real built in and solid, them grapes turn into olives. Them grapes turn into olives in your dreams, and them olives can't nobody break that. That's that good tree. Okay. So this turns into number one, your feelings of anxiety moments and your feelings of depressed moments because you are in your physical body, your mental state, your mind, your body. As long as you stay there in that body, in that state, you will take yourself off into again. I'm going to say this again. You will take yourself off into anxiety, depression. Do you understand me? You will take yourself, your own self. You will not be able to blame nobody because responsibility is with you. You was formed before you even came in your mother's belly. You knew right from wrong. You just got distracted. When you got in there dealing with them demons that came off on your mama to get to you. Okay? Okay. So, and then number two would be you'll be dealing with low self esteem. All right? This will be that sickness, death, and disease stuff that happens with you in that rage. That devil called rage. Okay? You'll be having that low self esteem, meaning you can't stand up for yourself. You will not be able to stand up for yourself, which brings you back to that childlike state of being, which is in the physical. You'll be in that childlike state. You'll be stuck in a childlike state, and you'll be again blaming others or saying that you can't do something because you're a child. And then when you get grown, you'll say the same thing. I'm just a child. Being in that I cheated on you because I did this because now you're forming yourself like you're a child and it's your mama. What are you doing here? No, you cheating because you cheated. You killed because you killed. You stabbed because you stabbed. You murdered because you murdered. What are we? That childlike state makes you make excuses for yourself of being what you doing out of rage. Point blank, period. So low self esteem will be number two, meaning you can't stand up for yourself in a righteous way. You always trying to people please. You'll be people pleasing and not knowing that you are people pleasing. You'll think that you loving them, but in reality, all you're doing is trying to please them. And so you want to act out. You'll want to act out in the end of that because how long will you stay not standing up for yourself, right? In this amount of rage, how long will you stay not standing up for yourself? At some point, you're going to be the person that like to fight a lot. At some point in the physical being's childlike state, you're going to want to fight a lot. You're going to want to argue a lot. You're going to want to be, you're going to be wanting to do a lot of things, a lot on the physical being. And this is that low self esteem. Low self esteem. That's why they call it low self esteem. Don't think that the judgment is not righteous just because they say you got low self esteem and they ain't explaining to you what they mean by that. You take it in and you go to God. Low self esteems come from you not being able to stand up for yourself. And in the end of that, you want to fight. You want to argue. You want to win debates. You want to do this. You want to do that. That's that. That's that. The devil adds up to that. It's low self esteem. And that devil rage. And in that low self esteem, you got unresolved emotions built up. And that unresolved emotion feeds the negative patterns that is taking place out on your physical being. So and then what is it? The third thing, right? The third thing. So first, second, and third. Third thing is you'll start having physical symptoms. Okay, you'll start having physical symptoms. These are the things I was telling you about in the beginning that I'm gonna get off into. That's got something to do with when you have rage and the father is asking you to take time with him and you don't want to take that time with him, and then this stuff happens before long, and then you're gonna be faced at the end in time with Jesus, and you're gonna have to discern whether or not you're gonna choose the manifestation of this devil, or you're gonna choose the magnifying of God, which is Jesus, done through Jesus. You're gonna have to choose in the end of your death which one you gonna serve. One gonna take you out of here, but the other one gonna bring you back and back into the new life. And on that end, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be all right if that's the case. But the third thing, physical symptoms. Back to what I said, it's the third thing, physical symptoms. Physical symptoms through your emotional state, which being emotional is not safe. It's disruptive. It's disruptive. It's destructive. It's not good for you. And you don't know that it's not because you'll make this a normal thing. And you'll say to yourself by making an excuse like saying, this is how I am. You'll make excuses to this normality. This is how I am. She know I am. My mama know I am. Why she always going off on me? Why she always doing this to me? Blah blah blah. Then you'll be blaming your mama for your disruption, with your destruction, your rage, or your mama may say, "This is just who I am. This how I be." Blah blah blah. It could be vice versa. Don't point no fingers at nobody because this is a general statement for everybody. Okay? This is a household name. Okay? The devil is a household name. So it can physically mess with you by causing headaches, right? Digestive issues or some chronic pains on your body. Due to your body uh has responded to this lining up of this rage. Now you're in line with this rage. So, and this can cause overall emotional stress. It's going to cause overall emotional stress to your body. Okay? Which brings me to number 4. Let me number this real quick. I'm sorry. Which brings me to number 4. Number 4 is emotional outbursts. Hell yeah. Rage. It's going to be what you do. That's going to be more looked at, focused on. It's not going to be what you say. In the end, it's going to be what you do. What you doing. The do. I spoke about that in the video. It's called the do. It's going to be what you do doing. What you do doing. Okay? So emotional outbursts will be what you will be doing. Okay? Emotional outbursts, meaning over time, overwhelming time, meaning raising up of waters, pouring over and out, over time, overwhelming with it, and your reaction to things, very minor things. That's going to be that emotional outburst. Okay? It could be real minor things that somebody does or somebody says, and you just do a reaction to it. Yeah, that. Even perfectionism. Okay, I'm gonna say that too. Perfectionism, according to the world, right? Perfectionism. This is not to be mistaken with how God says that we are all perfect, because we are perfect. Okay, this has nothing to do with that because we are perfect. But I get that there are some people out there presuming the perfect person, to where they are doing evil and raging out on people perfectly. In that done doing it in that. They are raging out on people perfectly. They doing it to a T. They got that down pat. They know how to say stuff. They know how to do things perfectly. And then they'll turn around so they can continue to rage out on you, on your butt, and say, "Oh, I'm not perfect." That's them. That's them who be sitting up there making excuses for themselves for not being perfect. You better get perfect unto Jesus Christ, because he's going to want you perfect so that he can do what he need to do perfectly within you. We got a perfect God, so he going to want you perfect with Jesus, lined up with Jesus. If the Lord is perfect, so shall you be perfect as well. But there are a lot of people who are perfectionists, who deal with perfectionism on that other side, which is what I spoke about some time ago. How on the other side, which is if you're in your childlike state, you in that physical being perfect. Yeah, of course. You can sit there and say, "Oh, I'm not perfect." Yeah, of course you can say that. You can make excuses all day. But God ain't gonna want to hear that. I'm just telling you, the Lord is not gonna want to hear that. He's not gonna want to hear that at all, of how not perfect you are. He gonna want you to say, "Clean it up, complete, done, over and out." On to the next, on to the next, brother and sister. So being in perfectionism in your physical body, your childlike person, then yeah, you can always make all kind of excuses. I'm not perfect, meaning you can always rage off in that body and do whatever you want to do in that body, and you're gonna get it. You're gonna see Jesus at the end of that, because He want to be inside. He want to be with you. He don't want to be you facing him at the end. He don't want you facing him. He wants you to turn, of course, but he don't want you to have to face him in the end of your destruction, in the end of you putting curses out with your mouth. He don't want to do nothing to you physically, mentally, verbally. He don't want to do nothing of the sort to you for you to get that he is Jesus. He don't want that. He just want to make his judgment on his righteous and keep it at that, which is his spirit, and keep it at that, and not have you to go off with that physical body, which is in the physical. He don't want you to go with that physical body. He want to keep you at that, the spirit, who you truly are, his righteous. Now, you and being in perfectionism in your physical body, and you saying, "Oh, I'm not perfect." You always claim that. That becomes something that you cope with. This is why you cope with your mistakes. Uh, you don't cope with your mistakes that you make. You right? Because you make excuses off of why you're not perfect. This is why now I want y'all to look at that to why you keep saying you're not perfect, and I keep saying that you are because I'm saying what the word says. The word says that you are perfect. And the reason why people keep saying they're not perfect is because they can't cope with their mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, children of God. And you better speak when the Lord says speak. Simple as that. If He's telling you to speak, you're going to have to speak. If He says to speak, you're going to have to speak. Simple as that, children of God. He's not going to want to hear how perfect you are not at the end of this situation. He's not going to want to hear that. So cope with your mistakes, children of God. Cope with them because that's what this perfectionism is about in your physical body, that you don't want to cope with your mistakes. And mistakes are going to happen. People get it wrong all the time. Real. That's some real stuff. People get it wrong all the time. We are doing this human thing perfectly on the outside. And we can do it perfectly without an excuse, coping with our mistakes by doing it with Jesus in there. And his light illuminating, meaning rising up inside of us, awakening inside of us, and having us to do what we need to do on the rest of our journey. That's it. That's all we got to do. That's all he needs for us to do. So, so cope with your mistakes because every human get it wrong. You are not the end all be all. Direct these people to God. Direct them to God and just be perfect and let God do what he's supposed to do. And then in this all this this perfectionism in which people keep saying they not perfect and they keep making mistakes as though those mistakes entitle them to bond to that mistakes, they deal with control issues. This is to control their environment, meaning that if a person see how positive a person is or how positive a person really can be with their positivity, meaning that you positive, you being a genuine person, being positive with their positivity. And they break their positivity, their positive side. They break it, meaning they no longer They no longer want to do it because you're getting a little too positive. Mean sometimes meaning that you're not even disrespecting them, because some people can be positive and be disrespecting, and that breaks that person positivity. That's not to be uh taken with that. I'm talking about respect coming from your mouth. You not uttering a word. You just helping. You just doing what God is telling you to do. You got the prophetic, and you making sure the prophecy being fulfilled for your mama, for your children, for your daddy, for your sister, all of them, right? You doing all of that. And they break their positive side only to bring you down a bit, because they don't want you there. Because they don't want you there. They don't want you to think that they can stay this way for a long time. They don't want you to think they can stay this way for a long time, because they can't. This is just an environmental thing. They just adapting to their environment. And this is not really who they truly are. So they will try to control their environment that they're used to getting adapted to. That's what they'll do. They used to getting adapted to this environment, and then they have your happy-go-lucky selfie with they happy-go-lucky selfie, which they perpetrating, and you real. What's going on here? You're not adapting. That's mainly what you can say. Hey, you're not adapting right. But in return, number four, emotional outbursts and taking on a disposition. This is done through your emotional flare ups. This ultimately leads up to madness, according to the Bible. This will lead to madness. This will be you in that house, can't get out, in them four walls, going berserk, going crazy on everybody, going off on people for no reason. This will be you. And then they claiming, oh, you got ADHD, or you got the jitters. He jumping. He's too smart. He's a genius. Anytime you make an A on the report card, you a genius. Oh, you a genius. You got mental damages. They calling forth all kind of gods against your mental and your body portions. You understand? Some people who are genuine will change. I won't say that. Some people who are genuine and you being positive with them and they being positive, those people who are dealing with these emotional outbursts can be genuine, and they will change their negative ways only if you don't disrespect them. Give them the righteous love. Give them the righteous love. But again, some will not care. Point blank, period. Some will not just care. They will just not care at all. Okay? Now, in my notes, the fifth one. Let me write this down. Fifth one. Okay. The fifth one is even loss of motivation. That's number five. Even loss of motivation. When you in that rage body, some men will do this where they only clean up. They lose their motivation. They only time they clean up is when they actually going out somewhere for the environment, that particular environment. I've seen this happen where a man will just clean up. Only time he clean up is when he going out um and to be in somebody else's company. That's the only time he clean up. And when I was taking baths every day, he interrupted my bath times to get enraged about the situation. He was always enraged. So even loss of motivation is to do with rage, that devil rage. You always feel sad, okay? You always feel sad, downtrodden. You just feel miserable all the time. You get those suicidal attempts in your mind. That's rage. That's what rage does. That rage is the devil. It wants your body. It doesn't want you here. So in return, even loss of motivation consists of what I've just said about, some people not wanting to some people not wanting to clean their body up, and they get mad at you because you always clean it up. Just something to be enraged of. But they was quiet for a little while, but then they just got enraged all of a sudden off of something. Little minor things, right? And loss of motivation could mean like you just giving up on life in general. That's in your raging body. That's the devil. You have picked up devils. And in picking up devils, that means that you have to go on a fast. But you still have to pray. And you have to presume the decrees, declare the decree. Stop saying declare and decree. They're two things together. It's not declare and decree. It's declare the decrees of God. And he will speak those decrees to you, and you will have to say them. And in the end, you have to say amen and amen. Amen and amen. Because that means you agree. You agree. Yeah, you and him. Relationship. Building a relationship. Amen and amen. Both of you agree. All right? So you can lose motivation, loss of motivation, meaning that you don't want to be here. You have suicidal thoughts in your mind, and you want to take your life, or you want to commit murders, or uh, you want to do a killing to somebody. You want somebody not to be here. Those are all suicidal attempts. It don't mean that you going to like try to take their life with a tool, but it means, or should I say that? It's still gonna be used a tool, but they ain't gonna see it in your hands. It's gonna be some physical, spiritual tools that you use to make sure they don't be here no more. Like yelling, screaming at them, always angry about something, always, you know, ain't being conscious of what you're doing. But you always are conscious of them all the time. You always on alert of them, and you always getting over into their stuff all the time, and then trying to be like them. Sometimes that can happen by mistake. You trying to be exactly like them. It's nothing wrong with copying. I never have a problem with that. It's nothing wrong with copying, but it's something when you envy someone, and then you envy that person. And again, I say it's nothing wrong with jealousy. It's something when you envy that person, because that is a mixture. Because I can be brought to jealousy, you know, and still be able to cope with the mistakes I'm making. I could be brought to jealousy, and I could be jealous of that person. But that means like, wow, I can look up to this person and be like, wow, that's it. I can still do that. So I don't have a problem with the jealousy. It's just the envy mixed in with the jealousy. That's a problem. That makes jealousy uproot in a different environment, in a different type of way. Okay? And you'll learn about that in the Bible too, about jealousy. It's associated with something. It's never just by itself jealousy. It says it's associated with something. But when jealousy be by itself, it's always say that brought, like, it brought me to jealousy, and that was a good thing. Okay, it's not gonna always be by itself when it comes to jealousy. Oop, I can't never get this thing right. Anyway, but overall, go read that Bible for yourself. Go read that Bible for yourself, and then get your time with God. But yeah, this can happen in this state and body. You will always think everything is a ritual. When you lost a motivation, you always think everything is a ritual or everything is religious. Oh, now you want me to bathe 5 times a day? This is when you lacking motivation, when you lost a motivation, you think everything is religious. You think everything's religious. Everybody in a state of mind that's stuck there always think everything is religious because they have lost motivation. They really don't want to do, they really don't want to be here in general. That's loss of motivation. So being that they don't want to be here, they don't want to keep being here and keep being reminded every day to do the same stuff because it's a new day, it's a new hour, and this hour just came. Now I got to do something in this hour. Are you crazy? It becomes a religious. They just think it's religious on impact. They're gonna always think that. Or you are a slave to something. People that lack motivation always think that you are in, or you are slave to something. Just so you don't take care of your emotional stuff. Oh man, oh you think I'm a slave? But this is just so you won't take care of your emotional stuff. That's why you think you a slave. But you're not a slave. That's just how you thinking. That's your loss. That's you owning up to how much you have lost of motivation. Because you're gonna have a little religion of different things. You're gonna have a little enslavement to different things. Really you are. And you're gonna have to take it because and stop putting negativity on it. Stop putting a name to everything. You don't know everything. Why you coming at me like that? Like I got to clean the house every day. I don't have to clean the house every day. Why I got to take out the trash every day? I don't got to take out the trash every day. You act like I'm your slave. Wait a minute. Is this how you talk to your mama? That's crazy. That ain't got nothing to do with being slave. I'm black. You white. You trying to enslave me. Stop it with the loss of motivation because that's what that is. And you are in your rage body. That devil is seeding you with stuff of your people's past, your ancestors stuff. So of course you're gonna know about uh racism and all that old different stuff. Of course you're gonna know about that because you're getting fed by the devil consistently inside your body. That rage, that name, that rage, that devil is putting demonic spirits inside of you. Them demonic spirits have been in and out your daddy, in and out your mama, in and out your mama's mama, your daddy's daddy. It's been in and out through generations, and now it's in you. So they know what to feed you, and then you'll be coming with those things as though you've been here before, and you have not. And you've been here before because now you are in your flesh. And we finna root that been here before up out of you by praying. That's when people really need to pray over that person. Because if they seeming like they been here before, it's time to root that out. It's time to root that up out of her. For some act like they been here before because they been there before, been with God before, and they remember it. They remember it. Okay, some been like that. So for some, I'm gonna say for some. So you got to take care of your emotional stuff. You're dealing with everything becomes so drastic to you when you loss of motivation. Everything becomes drastic when you got a loss of motivation. You think that what you're doing is way positive than the next, but in reality, you are being just as negative. And everything becomes drastic to you to where you're never doing it. You're never getting it done. Or if someone like an authoritative figure tells you to do something, not out of evil, but to do what your parents say according to the Bible, for example, becomes a slaving thing to you. It becomes a slaving thing to you because of your bad behavior. Your bad behavior due to rage and this evil that you in, your body, this childlike state of being, which is number five, the loss of motivation. These emotional stuff, this emotional stuff is bad behavior. Even taking a bath to cleaning up becomes a problem, like I said before, due to the buildup in your mind and your body. Enjoying yourself, you can't. You will not be able to enjoy yourself because you think you're the one who dictates when you set the mood or not. You'll be the one that dictates and set the mood of whether or not you have a joyous time or not. Like say for instance, you are a friend of somebody and you feel like you the one that dictates the mood. So if you all happy and then that person shows happiness with you and they enjoying themselves with you, then all of a sudden you want to break the mood and be mad or be silent and you don't want to talk no more. And then all of a sudden that person still want to be doing still uppity and you all of a sudden you just went down again. Loss of motivation. All of a sudden you get lost of motivation and you in your mind, you in your head with rage. And rage again is nothing to do with the look or uh or you just know that when you mad or angry or not. No, that ain't got nothing to do with it. Because you're not gonna know this. This just comes up, period. Okay? And so then you are being the one that's the dictator of how happy this moment gonna be or how sad this moment gonna be. And so that person and you're basically like being like a Debbie Downer in the company of somebody else who's trying to uplift you and want the same back in return. But not I'm not saying about party goers. I'm not talking about that. You know you ain't supposed to be somewhere with somebody and you there with them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about doing the righteous thing unto God. Not going to the club and you partying and then you got some person it's a Debbie Downer. No, that person is doing right. So please don't misinterpret my words, y'all. Stop it. I know you're gonna interpret it to where your mind is at, because that's normally how that works, right? But I know what I mean. Okay. And then so the number six, substance abuse. Okay. Being in rage, being in this mightily thing, substance abuse, even sexual abuse, substance abuse, which is the same as sexual abuse, or you get to doing things that you actually not supposed to be doing sexually. You get off into all those type of things you really not supposed to be playing around with sexually. Hey, you beautiful too. Thank you. You'll get off into that type of substance abuse. You turn to this type of environment to avoid triggering off on someone, right? In the substance abuse. And this leads to dependency on this stuff, meaning you get off into wanting to do what you want to do. And overall, this is what your conscience is going to say. I could do whatever I want to do. I could do whatever I want to do. In this substance abuse, when you abusing substances, whether that substances be uh to do what you want to do or not, you're avoiding triggering off on someone, and you are depending upon this stuff. You're truly depending on this stuff. You are depending on it. This is something that you get off on. You get off on wanting whatever you want and getting whatever you want, like a spoiled child, right? That's what spoiled childs do that doesn't carry the rod with them, right? If you do not carry the rod with you, you are a spoiled child, right? Because it says that in the Bible, all right? According to the Bible, spare the rod, spoil the child, okay? That's that. So, and then the seventh thing is difficulties in relationships. You'll have difficulties in relationships. You will. You will ultimately have difficulties in relationships with this rage on the inside of you, meaning that you will always take your people into the wilderness activity with you, because you will always be at rage because of memories of old stuff still sticking with you. You know what I'm saying? And you will do that person wrong, or that person can do you wrong because you enraged and you don't even know are what they are entitled to do. You don't even know what they capable of doing. That's the word I was looking for. You don't even know what they capable of doing to you in your amount of rage. And they may do it nicely and without you even knowing that they did it. But regardless of the matter, you will not know. You understand? You will not know. Let me turn this thing off here. Hopefully that works. Okay. Turn off that Bluetooth because I don't know why they keep on coming on. But you will be. Shady, can you hear me? Hopefully you're still there. Shady, can you hear me? Have I been able to be heard the whole entire thing? Because I'm having technical issues. Technical issues. Hello. But you'll have difficult in relationships when you're in rage. Okay? Let's take you back to that. When you're in rage, you can have difficulties in relationships, and that rage can manifest itself as anger. You don't have to look or sound angry. You can sound polite, but you can start blaming other stuff on other people for no apparent reason. You just begin to blame those people for the things that somebody else has done. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can begin to do that when you don't when you start having rage out on somebody in relationship. You will have difficulties in relationship because you'll always want to have intimacy. You will always want to get to do what you want to do. Spoiled children, spared rod. Like how they respond to your rage, you'll love it. And what I wanted to say, you'll blame other people for your stuff, like how they respond to your rage. All right. And kids can come into the world with this rage on them because of wrong father figures, meaning you spare the rod and you spoil the child, which means now they only have to look at their dad to get what they need to get. They can't look at God because they gonna think their dad is God, and then it's some people that believe in earthly stuff, which is they think they gods. I disagree with that. It was never meant for them to be gods. But yet they take and they maneuver the Bible how they want to maneuver the Bible because it said God. They be like, oh, we gods. And then it said it throughout the Bible. That's because that's how y'all was acting after y'all ate from that tree that you weren't supposed to eat from. Y'all need to stop forgetting that. Okay. So the world with this rage on them, and we as parents will, you know, the children will come into this world with the rage upon their body, right? Because that's what's the physical. And they'll come out and they start acting certain ways. Some people just come out of the womb acting certain ways. And then they get diagnosed to some things. And then you got to deal with all of that. That's even more upon the rage that they have. And then you got to be fronted with that. And then that means you're going to have to face your demons with their demons that they have on them because you don't know that child when they come out. You think you know them just because you mom and daddy don't mean nothing. You don't know them. And now you can't act like you can't take it like, oh, I don't know them. No, you got to give them the love of God. Meaning your distance love, you distant lover gotta then love your child. And not even your child, but the child you are with. You gotta put some love in that child. Point blank, period. And so now what parents tend to do in the rage that they built up that they got and they have that good and evil, right? That good and evil state. And they often to they been the children have raged up against them, so now they want to rage back at the children. And so now they ready to whoop that child. They ready to yell at that child. They ready to do anything other than God, giving that child God. That and they're going to measure up in those things that come from the parents. The parents are going to measure up in these things that's coming from them, and they're going to do it. Okay, they're not going to be able to withstand this stuff like that. They're going to need God. They're going to know that, oh my God, I need God. As a parent, I need God. I can't do this alone. I'm not getting no help. I'm tired. They're going to be hollering they tired. You're going to need God. At the end of your tiredness, get God. Because man do run out, Man, male and female, human being, they do run out. So at the end of your tired, get understanding. Get understanding. Get God. Hear his word. But you have to not do this whooping of your children, this yelling on of your children, this different stuff that you're going to do to your children that's going to be on the rage inside of you. It's been people that's been raping their children, molesting their children. It's been people been doing all kind of crazy stuff to their child because their child have raised up against them. Stuff like that does happen to certain parents. Let's talk about it. Because this is what happens inside of these raging wolves. Or they'll let you get, molested, raped, whatever it may be. They'll let you get that. Okay? And in the end of all of this, what you're not going to understand, parents, is that kids only remember what they want to remember. They're not going to remember none of what they did. They're gonna remember everything of what you did. And then this is gonna be the new generation that's gonna be trying to put a killing to you because of what you did in the past. And that's how that's gonna be. And if you read in Jeremiah, and now I'm gonna go to Jeremiah because there's something that I want to say at the beginning because the Lord wanted me to say that. But I want you to go to Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 6. And I want you to know Jeremiah 1, chapter 6 says, Then said I, A Lord, God, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. Now, after all I just said to you, would you then keep saying, as an excuse, that you are just a child? Excuse of what I name? Excuses of emotional outbursts, excuses of low self esteem, and excuses of anxiety and depression. Will you keep making excuses? Excuses of loss of motivation, excuses of substance abuse, excuses of having difficulty in your relationship. Will you keep saying out your mouth how much of a child you are? Will you? How long will you keep doing that? Because our next generation needs you pronto. They need you right now. Pronto. Okay? So, this is the potential the Father sees in us all. That's that. That's what that's saying. This is the potential that Father sees within all of us. How this man, this human, is a child to God no matter the age. And he called this person, this child felt disqualified. He didn't feel up to standard, okay? Because he kept going into all these other parts of him, and he wasn't knowing how good God is. Responsibilities belongs to you, man and woman of God. What are some feelings you face when you called to a certain responsibility uh made up by someone else for you to take care of? A lot of us call out how much of a child we are when it comes to responsibilities. That's what we do. So you can't say how much of a child you are when God calls you. You got to take on to that responsibility because you was not just born into this earth to be on this earth and to just to love earthly stuff. Child. I don't care how grown you is. Child. You cannot just want to just pick and choose earthly stuff forever. And what else I wanted to say to you? I wanted to say something else. Um, I want to say to you how uh there could be people in the heavenly walking in the spirit as someone else. I wanted to say that too. How there could be people in the heavenly places walking as somebody else in the spirit. Okay, when you are in this amount of rage, there can be people in the heavenly places that can walk, that will walk out, they will walk in the spirit coming forth as you. Um, and this be something else that was in your life, your life before, grabbing bodies, walking through them to rise them back up, and it's not be Jesus. Okay? So some people can say they love Jesus, but really not love Jesus. Because there are many people that has been walking and they will come into you and build up on you that spirit, and that spirit will be what it is that be used. And so when you see the different people in your spirit, sometimes it could be of God, but sometimes these spirits are spirits a long time ago that's dwelling in your space, not wanting to let you go. They just hiding out there, just resting there. Let them go. So don't God don't want to know more about you just a child. And all of those things I just mentioned. He don't hear that no more. He wants you to walk in your destiny, what you was predestined to do, and do it. Okay? Stay blessed. Stay tuned. Bye for now. Salute to you, soldiers. Salute to you out there. It's a jungle. But we got that God that knows how to take care of them jungles. Got them lines for them jungles. Stay blessed. Salute to you, soldier. Bye for now.